Hello beautiful creatures, welcome back to Of Crafts and Curios. It is part 2 of our Halloween extravaganza here on the channel, creating some silly, fun, whimsical, trick-or-treating creatures to just enjoy the season. Last time in part 1 we created the quintessential sheet ghost, and today we are taking on another classic, that being the pumpkin-headed jack-o'-lantern inspired creature. While the cogs in my head were turning around what I was going to do for our Halloween doll here on the channel, I saw Rachel Maxey's incredible Victorian-inspired pumpkin-headed creature, and I knew I wanted to do my own spin in my own craft on this kind of concept. But of course with that vintage gothic aesthetic that I want my trio to have. For this doll, I am taking a pretty busted up Ever After High doll because the neck peg is already kind of smashed and the head is so large on these dolls that I think it's going to be the perfect candidate for that jack-o'-lantern pumpkin-headed creature. Although this doll's head is already off its body, I am going to go ahead and soften up the vinyl so that it is a bit easier for me to pull out the factory hair plugs before I move on to taking off the factory paint with my usual acetone-based nail polish remover. While I am prepping this doll in the footage, I will just say that obviously pumpkin-headed people are not an original concept, and neither is a sheet ghost. The whole series that I am creating is really trying to tap into that childhood nostalgia and just the fantasy and whimsy of Halloween as a concept, rather than the traditional Samhain roots. I know that I keep hammering on about this, but I think it's important to make the distinction, especially since I live in the Southern Hemisphere, who doesn't really have Halloween. Sometimes there's Halloween sales, I guess, and like one store has some spooky attire and maybe some props that you could put in your garden, but it's not really that well celebrated here in the Southern Hemisphere. So there isn't that direct link between Samhain and Halloween here for us. With the factory paint all removed and the factory hair plugs all gone, it's time to start thinking about how I'm going to turn this head into a pumpkin. I know that I don't want to do a full destruction of the head. I want it to be still that face shape and still the molded face sculpt, but with a pumpkin head. So I'm going to be using this silicone based putty that is used to make molds. I thought this was a good idea at the start because this would mean I could slip the doll head easily in and out because the mold is of the doll's head. However, I didn't factor in the fact that this is a mold making product, therefore things aren't meant to stick to it. So when it comes to painting my pumpkin, I really struggled to get the paint to adhere. So maybe don't use this product, maybe use something different. More lightweight, maybe. I'm not sure what you could use, but I do not recommend this. That being said, however, it did actually turn out really well. It is a great shape and it is lightweight enough that the doll doesn't topple over, which is why I didn't use something like a 2-part epoxy. Maybe if I was to do this again with the same product, I would add a couple drops of food coloring when I was mixing the 2 parts to make the molding structure. That way the original color of the foam texture wouldn't be yellow, but it would be orange. So that is a way I guess I could circumvent that in the future, but I did not know that this time around. And that's what's great about making crafts, and I hope that you guys understand from this channel, is that a lot of art is trial and error, and a lot of it is changing the creative process on the fly. So we do end up with this helmet here looking pumpkin that is really cute, but is such a difficult process to paint. The little stem is everything. I am obsessed with the little stem. It is such a cute pumpkin shape. I'm really proud of how it turns out structurally, like in the sense of the sculpt. And it is really easy to slide on and off of her head because it is a perfect mold of the doll's head. As forementioned, it does take me so many layers to cover this head with paint and avoid chipping and all kinds of things. So we're gonna just breeze through that process and just make it look like it took a couple of seconds. With some determination and some Prolix powder, this is our finished pumpkin. I think it is so cute and it definitely looks very costumey and homemade, so I really think it's going to be perfect for the trick-or-treating theme of this series. And now it is time to move on to the face up for this doll. I definitely want to pay homage to the traditional jack-o'-lantern face. They often have sort of down-turning eyes, kind of in a crescent moon shape. So I'm going to try replicate that with the eye shape of this doll, and just keeping with the really classic vintage-inspired thin pencil line eyebrows and a cute little set of lips, all again inspired by that vintage gothic aesthetic. I definitely find that the Ever After High face sculpts are much more cartoonish, and therefore my face-ups on them end up quite a bit more stylized, but I really think this effect works well with the concept of the jack-o'-lantern head, as I do think it's quite fun and silly and definitely much more fantasy-driven than realism-driven, especially under that vintage gothic look. So here is my finished face up. I think she looks like a little Halloween icon. I think there's certain elements to her that really invoke the Bride of Chucky, and I just am really happy with this cute little goth pumpkin head moment that she is serving. Now, moving on to her outfit, I needed to keep it quite simplistic because there's a lot going on with her head. So I'm going to keep it really simple with a black Victorian blouse and black skirt. And I thought about doing a corset, but it just didn't work with the aesthetic that I'm trying to pull off. So instead I swap it out for that apron that you saw me cut out in part 1. But that looks really cute, and I think it's really funny for someone with a gourd as a head, which is usually Eden, to be wearing a kitchen apron. With her really simple Victorian blouse complete with its little puffy sleeves, I'm just going to add a square skirt that is gathered in the middle to create my little dress. And here is our completed base dress. It is super simple and understated as to not outshine the star of the show, that being the giant pumpkin on her head. And keeping it simple allows me to add things like embellishments and lace, and of course this adorable little kitchen apron. Like in part 1, I fashioned a little petticoat out of some lace to just add some slight volume under her skirt. And I think this is the perfect little trick-or-treating pumpkin outfit for our pumpkin-headed icon. With the base of her dress done, I can add some more embellishments like some buttons and a lace collar, and then our little outfit will be complete. I of course didn't want to leave her out of the fishnet for dolls moment that I am having, so I am going to go ahead and use the same mesh top that I used last time to create some little stockings, but with a twist. I thought I would do that cool iconic goth look where you have one like blackout stocking and one fishnet stocking on. I think that looks really cool. I wish I could pull that off in real life. I think this is so cute and so silly and really adds to the whimsy of this little outfit, so I'm really happy with how this turned out. And now for shoes, I'm taking these black ever after high shoes that have these cute little ruffles at the ankle, and I'm just adding a little bit of orange and roughing them up a bit to fit into the vintage aesthetic of these dolls. The final touch I wanted to make to her little outfit was a chin strap or chin ribbon for her helmet pumpkin. I think this will just look super delightful and just so cute. And there it is, our finished outfit. And to bring her to life, I'm just going to go ahead and add some gloss varnish to her eyes and her lips. And the last detail to add her to our trick-or-treating gang is a little treat bucket based on the jack-o'-lantern. She is so cute and she is all finished. I am so obsessed with her. I think it is so silly to think of a pumpkin trick-or-treating with a pumpkin wearing a kitchen apron. She's just the embodiment of my vintage gothic vision for these dolls. So now we can enjoy some glamour shots together and then see her and her new bestie, Miss Sheet Ghost, all together. Here we have our 2 out of 3 trick-or-treating besties in the flesh together. I think they are so silly and so cute. I know that if these two showed up at my door on trick-or-treating, they would get a fistful of candy each rather than just one candy. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video along with its mishaps and mistakes in the crafting process. I cannot wait for you guys to see the final addition to my trick-or-treating series here on the channel, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this edition. If you did, hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment down below on which outfit you would be wearing, the pumpkin or the she ghost, and hit that subscribe button if you're brand new. And if you're not, hit that bell button to know when part 3 drops. And as always, we'll see you back here real soon with more crafts and more curios.